Oh, my gosh.
I think the Chiefs are going to be one and done in the playoffs.
The Kansas City Chiefs will not make it to the AFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl. The run comes to an end because
defense. The Chiefs should be concerned about this game. At every level defensively versus the Chiefs offense, the Texans should win.
So the Chiefs are -1.5 against the Bills. I'll take Buffalo +1.5. I took Buffalo +1.5 today. I think Buffalo's going to go into Arrowhead and win.
2024, Lamar Jackson is the best player alive, right? The best player living is Lamar Jackson.
It is the Cincinnati Bengals. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, mark my words. Mark my words. Now, we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this later on in the season. Yeah. And when the Bengals do beat the Chiefs in a game of importance, Ryan, you keep that same giggle and keep that same laugh. Remember.
The Kansas City Chiefs will lose the first playoff game they play.
Oh, stop it. What are you...
The first...
That's going to be at home. That's going to be at home.
They'll lose.
This is definitely going to be a bet, for sure. But second, I reported earlier this week, they're activating a Mihu, who's a big sack guy, and then Pacheco.
That's beautiful.
And then at some point, hopefully they get Hollywood back. They're getting Juju back. So they're getting healthy now.
That's great.
I don't see it.
They are missing vital moments to improve. They're hanging on. Mm-hmm. They're winning because they know how to win. Just because you get those players back, you still have to be getting better. And just adding guys back into the lineup don't just make you better as a team. It make you more talented. It make you more capable. It make you more dangerous. But it doesn't necessarily make you a better team. And right now, for the first 9-10 weeks of the season, they have not become a better team. Those are vital weeks. There's only 18. For 9-10 weeks, y'all just been hanging on because we the Chiefs and we know how to win. But I'm telling you, they aren't getting better. And there's other teams out there going through shit, getting better. And they not. And watch, they'll pay for it.
I think both the Lions and the Chiefs are going to lose their games after the first round bye. I think that we're going to see both first seeds fall. Which last time it's happened, it was, I want to say, like 20. It was in the 2000s. I want to say it was late 2000s. The Chiefs are far from a perfect team. We know this. Absolutely, they've won freaking 15 games, but they have a point differential of like 5. Right? We know that this team plays these tight one-score games, and they're going to run into juggernauts potentially in the AFC playoff picture. Now they're going to get a wild card draw in the division round, same way the Lions are. But man, the 5-seed Chargers. Pretty good ball team, all right? There's absolutely nothing to sneeze at there. Even if they do get 6-seed Steelers, I know they just beat the Steelers last week, the Steelers can drag you into the mud. The Steelers are very comfortable playing a one-score sleepy game the way the Chiefs are.
They feel like the way that they've been playing, it feels like they're the type of team that's going to lure us in to believe that they can three-peat, and then they get knocked out in the first round of the division.
I agree with you. As good as Kansas City is, they are barely beating some teams they ought to be blowing out of the tub. I really predict this, and I'm sorry, Kansas City. I think they lose their first playoff game. They'll win the division, but they'll lose their first playoff game.
See, I'm not betting on a John Harbaugh coach team to mess it up. I'm not. I'm not betting on a Mike Tomlin team to mess it up.
Rex,
we talk
true.
about
very true. Rex, a John Harbaugh team did exactly that in the AFC Championship game against them last year.
Absolutely, when they stopped running the football, when they gave 6 carries and all that. I don't see it happening this year.
Are you counting?
They bring in Derrick Henry. This is not. You guys haven't had. The only thing you're missing. This ain't the same team as last year. There's no Ladarius Sneed out there. Their defense is average as hell, especially against a vertical passing game. You guys seem to think it's going to be the same. It's not.
So you left tackle
can't block me, and I'm telling you right now, Pacheco, he better be healthy, or I'm telling you.
So you're telling me you're sitting up here counting the Kansas City, the back-to-back Super Bowl defending champion. You're counting them out, right?
I'm not. I'm saying this, Randy. I recognize the fact that they're going to get the bye. All right. Now all they have to do is win one more game. They're in the championship game. I don't think the way they're playing. I don't have any faith in it. Why? I've been around this game all my life. I've seen teams like this before, and you know what happens to them? They get beat in the first round. Well,
and as we head into 2025, as much as I regret that take from last year, as does my wallet, I'm doing it again.
Oh my gosh.
I think the Chiefs are going to be one and done in the playoffs.
One and done?
Wow. You're doing it again?
I'm doing it again.
Why?
I know that they're winning a lot of football games, 13 of them, in fact. They're 13-1. They look amazing. Well, hold on. Their record looks amazing. And this.
Now, if you want to get to a Super Bowl, if you want to win the Super Bowl, you're going to have to go through a litany of really good teams. So it's going to be hard to avoid great teams. But if you're talking about just wanting to win the divisional round, who would I rather see? The Kansas City Chiefs, who I just saw them play a lot closer in Arrowhead than I saw them play against the Ravens at home on Christmas Day? Give me the Chiefs.
Should the Chiefs be concerned about this defense and this quarterback and these Texans that are coming into Kansas City?
well, it's certainly not a bye week, is it? Oh, my goodness. I think Houston has a chance here. And because I'm not going to ignore what I just saw. I'm not going to ignore it. That pass rush was absolutely ferocious. And it wasn't just against the 5 offensive linemen. They kept shipping. You know, your superstar right tackle for the Chargers, I can't stand, is overrated as hell. But anyway, they couldn't block them. They could not block them. And so to me, yes, that's a problem. What's the Achilles heel for Kansas City's offense? Pass protection. This team, and I get it. I know they beat them by 8 points in the regular season in a game. I get it. But they look different. For some reason, something clicked to that football team, and they look different.
Guys, the meme is not the Dragons or the Soldiers. It's about the Texans' defense, and it's that one where the Grim Reaper is walking down the hallway, opening each door, and like, you're dead, and you're dead, and you're dead. And they just went to the Chargers door, and now they're going to the big red door in Kansas City, and they got that scythe. Like, this defense has made some of the best quarterbacks in our sport ever look ridiculous. Like, they don't even know how to line up under center, including the other night. It is an incredible run that they have had this year. And it's the Texans. The market might be a little sleepy, and they played some poor football, and they got hammered by Baltimore. So everyone was on the Chargers. Even Las Vegas was on the Chargers. But then you watch this defense, you're like, oh, my God, I think they could go to Arrowhead and flip the table. They are that good.
Am I giving Houston a chance? Of course. Of course I'm giving Houston a chance. They have to play the game, don't they, Wilds?
I mean,
don't they
it's on the
have to play
schedule.
the games. Let me say this. You put up the stats. Can we see those stats again of Houston's defense? Because there was this great man that I happen to know coined the phrase. What was that phrase again?
Defense wins championships. It's catching on.
Defense wins championships. And there's one thing that we saw in that first round matchup against the Chargers. We saw great defense.
Spread. The Chiefs should be concerned. This Chiefs team is led by their defense. Every Chiefs team has been led by their offense in previous
I'm going to
seasons.
say something. I don't know if anybody else going to say it. Chiefs should be concerned about this game. Chiefs should be concerned about this game. You can roll back around whenever you got time, Shady. Roll my dog back around. Roll my dog back around. If you know D'Amico Ryans, like I know D'Amico Ryans, play with me in Philly, like Shady knows D'Amico Ryans.
I love it, brother.
The Chiefs should be concerned about this game. If you know the Texans defense, like I know the Texans defense, like I trust y'all at home who watch the Texans defense know the Texans defense, the Chiefs should be concerned about this game. At every level defensively versus the Chiefs offense, the Texans should win. The corners. Y'all seen what Lassiter and Stingley did last week?
Really good play.
What? The pass rushers. Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter, best pass rushing tandem in football, led the league in sacks as it pertains to a tandem. The Texans linebackers. Their head coach is a former linebacker, defensive rookie of the year. You don't think them linebackers about to be ready? Advantage Texans because you've already gotten used to Mahomes. Chiefs should be concerned about this game. I've told you why. I'll show you why.
They've got to scare you a little bit just because if I had a bye as an offense that we've had some struggles at certain spots and we're coming out of that bye and we're playing a defense that's literally exactly all the things that we really have kind of struggled with a little bit.
Yeah.
this is not a fun one. But the Texans, like you said, they're going to have to go play perfect football, and they need the Chiefs to make some mistakes, I think, still to win this game. But it can't be one that the Chiefs will just be sitting there going, man, this is exactly who we'd want to play. They got to be a little nervous about this one.
Total. Yeah. When I think about it and rewatching the tape, none of the Chiefs receivers beat the Texans DBs at all. Yeah. They can't win. It's the craziest thing, James. They cannot win. DeAndre Hopkins was not beating Kamari Lassiter. True. His one back shoulder catch, it was on Jeff Okudah. Nobody's beating Stingley on the other side. Travis Kelce's one of the greatest tight ends, if not the greatest ever. Number 23, Murray, had him locked up, and he wouldn't let him out. Yeah. Travis Kelce got his 5 catches in that game in zone, just sitting down in the open zone window. DeAndre Hopkins did the most of his work sitting down in zone windows. Yeah. The Chiefs receivers are not better than the Texans defense.
Championship game. Dan, you again, are the Chiefs a lock against the Texans?
Absolutely not. A lock? No. Number one, this team hasn't blown out anybody. While they get it done, they haven't blown out anybody. They haven't really dominated anybody. I do think they're peaking. They're surging at the right time. The second thing is this. If you had to ask me, indifferent of the color, jersey, and the team, what defense is custom built to give this offense in Kansas City problems, I would tell you it's a defense that had really good edge rushers. Yep. Daniil Hunter and Will Anderson are freaking problems, and they got to play strapped up, sticky coverage with good ball skills. Lassiter and Stingley. So this defense in Houston is prime built. They're structurally sound with it. Like, they do the things that give Kansas City issues. And so, locked by no means. I think this defense can keep Houston very much so in the game. I believe they can get after this offensive line that is playing better, but can get after them. They could cover them down. The only question I have...
Point number one, the Kansas City Chiefs haven't played a game in over 3 weeks. In NFL parlance, as the former players, we call that rust. They're not going to come out of the gate flying on all cylinders. They're going to be off-tempo and very rusty. That's number one.
Let me ask you a question real quick. Have they ever won after 24 days off?
They have 0 wins in the franchise's history with 24 days of rest. That's number one.
I'm just going to make sure I remember all these.
They're going up against the best defense they will have seen the entire year. A defense that gets to the quarterback better than anybody else. And what's the weakness on Kansas City's side? The offensive line stinks. Mahomes has been hit more than any time in his career. He's going to be on his rear end a lot in this game. And number 3, because you like to fight with stats and facts. That's new to me, as you may know. But I found one that cannot be argued against.
Okay.
This year, so forget about past. This year, your beloved Kansas City Chiefs are winless in the 4:30 window. They have not won a single game all year when they play at 4:30. Greg Jennings, what time is their game this weekend?
I believe it's 4:30.
Oh, that's right, it is. 0-2, undefeated in every other time zone at 4:30. Winless. They will be
Can you put this picture on the screen? No one in their right mind.
Upset alert!
J-Mac.
Upset alert!
Upset alert. Texans, talk to me.
I said it. The defense, and I think on the offensive side, you just said what's been different about these. We were talking about Jaden Daniels. What name did you mention?
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud. You got a quarterback. Who's he going to throw the ball to on the outside? Nico Collins. I think they're going to have to move Nico around and find the mismatches that they can. But I think it starts with this defense. Yes, I know these teams played already. C.J. Stroud had 2 interceptions in that game that were uncharacteristic for him, but they have to be able to get Mahomes on the ground. That is the big difference with Justin Herbert. He doesn't run as much as Mahomes. I think if they can pull that off, they have a chance to win this.
It's obvious to you. To me, it's more obvious that they would lose this game. Brew, do you remember what type of team they played last year in the postseason, their first game? Breakdancers. Yeah, Houston don't have breakdancers. Not any breakdancers. Look, they've gotten blown out only Houston this year twice by top 10 caliber offensive scoring teams.
So the Ravens did it, and I don't even remember who.
The Vikings.
Vikings. Okay.
The Vikings. This is not. You've said this all season long. This is not who the Chiefs are. They don't blow teams out. Everybody wants to see the Chiefs blow teams out. It's not how we win games. Have you not said that all season long?
That's 100% true.
It's not happening this weekend. The Houston Texans will go into Arrowhead, and they will compete. And hopefully, hopefully for your sake, the Kansas City Chiefs don't get blown out.
Blown out, Greg.
It's Greg.
You can say that when you're not going to be here the day after.
Greg, you gotta get your FaceTime. We have
Look,
FaceTime.
I'm rolling with the Texans. I have nothing to lose. Right?
I have the Houston Texans getting to the Super Bowl to represent the AFC. Yes, I have the Houston Texans. I don't know exactly what their odds are when it comes to plus money or minus money, whatever the case may be. But I have the Houston Texans.
With my Super Bowl picks,
Who is it? What is it?
we can go with that guy. And if I had my flag, I would put it down here. Woohoo! We got the Detroit Lions representing the NFC.
Wow.
CJ.
Wow.
And CJ Stroud and no Texans. Now, when somebody is your guy, with CJ Stroud, you my guy. Clearly.
Why'd you pick Daniel Jones?
I put my flag right there in front of the desk, on top of the desk. CJ Stroud and the Houston Texans take on the Detroit Lions. I really believe in Dan Campbell and what he's going to do. I think they're going to take that jump. I really like the Lions this year. It was tough for me. You took the Packers, so respect there. And then winning the MVP, I mean, come on. Do we need to?
Wow.
CJ Stroud, he's going to have a year.
Wow. A heck of a year.
I mean,
you know what? L'Jarius Sneed, he still won't be Patrick Mahomes.
And I think if we do that and we can play the style that we played with the same energy and the same fire we had this past Saturday, I think we'll be okay with the Chiefs.
If you look at it from that standpoint, who's going to beat them in Arrowhead? But I'll be different. I don't think they're going to win it this year. I think that three-peat's tricky, Jeffrey. So I say they will get picked off, surprisingly, before AFC title game. Steve makes plenty of sense, but I'll go one round earlier than him.
The Kansas City Chiefs will not make it to the AFC Championship game, let alone the Super Bowl. The run comes to an end because your AFC Championship game teams will be the Houston Texans and the New York Jets. So don't sleep on Metropolitan because we're going all the way.
I'm going to just say right now.
Bills. Josh Allen, what is the best way to attack a Chiefs defense that we all agree? Standout unit, right?
Absolutely.
Josh Allen attack them. That arm, that to me is the difference. And I think the experience that the Bills have against the Chiefs, granted they've come up short. But year after year, having seen them, having to face Patrick Mahomes, I just think to me the Bills are the team that could say, yeah, this is the moment we can get over them. I understand with James Cook, I love.
But Josh has that a little bit of, like, I can go face to face with Patrick a little bit, like I can go blow for blow versus Patrick, and he's seen him in the playoffs to have 1,000 yards against them. I think their offense is diverse enough because of all the different people that they have. Shakir is certainly taking the step forward. Keon and Amari have been impactful, the two tight ends, the way that they could run the football with their 6 offensive linemen. So I think I agree with the point of, like, the defense. I think Buffalo's defense can match up against Kansas City's offense just because Kansas City's offense wants to be efficient rather than explosive.
I think the Bills are a serious, problem for the Chiefs. I think the Ravens are as well. I think you've got Lamar Jackson, who's playing as well as anybody in the league. I think Josh Allen's going to win the MVP, but Lamar's right there.
He's right there.
I mean, he's
in
there.
the conversation.
And you've got Derrick Henry, who's running the football, took over that game yesterday on the offensive side of the ball. So
I just think, though, you see how quick they're getting rid of the ball now? See how quick.
That's why I say Xavier Worthy and
I just think if they're going to load up against a team like Buffalo, they're going to load up against a team like Baltimore. And those are the two teams that can beat them, and I think it's going to happen. I think one of them's going to take, even though it would be in Kansas City.
You just said, are we sure Buffalo?
How much guarantee do I get?
You just said, are we sure Buffalo's better than Kansas City? Kansas City got 1 loss this year. Buffalo beat the doors off them.
And they would have to
Actually,
go.
I just look at Baltimore, Buffalo, and the Chargers, and maybe if Cincinnati got in, that they could go into Kansas City and beat them. Like, I don't think any of us would be shocked.
3 AFC teams you think could win at Kansas City?
Would you? Yeah, this year, without question.
I think Buffalo ends with Buffalo and Baltimore. The AFC.
I mean, in the conference,
Which team is the biggest threat to Kansas City right now?
Well, look, I'm not going to be called a homer because I could make a case the Chargers have played the Chiefs very close in 2 different contests this year, and that third one would be fun. I hope I get a chance to go see it in person. But I'll say, there you go. But I will say the Buffalo Bills, and we're just talking about Josh Allen, and this is someone who's already with his team beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Week 11 this season. So you have that recent confidence. How about going back to the 2021 Divisional Round and that psycho crazy finish to that one, where Josh Allen throws for 329, 4 touchdowns, rushes for 68 yards, and is mere seconds away from advancing past the Kansas City Chiefs. You know that's still sticking in his craw a little bit, Baldy. So this feels like the year for Buffalo. If not now, when? This is someone that I think is confident going to play the Kansas City Chiefs.
Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson, Buffalo against Baltimore.
Yes.
The winner of Bills-Ravens is going to the Super Bowl.
Number 2, Kansas City. Listen, worst point differential in the history of the league for a team that's as good as them. I know they had a bye, and I know they'll be good, and I know they'll beat the brakes off of Houston. And they are getting stronger late with their musical chairs on the offensive line and Hollywood Brown. And they are 7-2 against current playoff teams and 21-2. But aesthetics matter and data matters. And my number 1 team in the league, number 1, is Buffalo. There's never been a team in pro football that had 30 passing touchdowns and over 30 rushing touchdowns. Not only do they win at home, all but one home game was a blowout. 7 win by 20 points. I think this offense is incredible. Left tackle, right now, the best remaining in the playoffs. Quarterback, most talented remaining in the playoffs. James Cook, top 5 running back. 2 good tight ends, 3 capable receivers. They are not as good as Kansas City defensively. There is no question. And maybe they don't match up with Baltimore defensively. But this team right now is so good offensively. Left tackle, quarterback, weapons, run game. I have them number 1 by an inch. I think this is the year. I think this is the best version of Buffalo.
Mahomes world, but not today. Give me the Bills, baby.
I mean, who do you think I'm picking in this one? Josh Allen, it's his time to shine. The Bills are going to the Super Bowl. We're jumping through tables. 31-23. The Buffalo Bills take care of business. Kyle, final thought.
There are I think they're just taking that next step, right? Because we've been talking about the hump and them getting over the hump. I think this is the year, man, that the Bills can really get over that hump. And they're hurting you in so many different ways. That's really the thing. Him spreading the ball out, and this right here is a great pass, man. But just him being in a situation like this, being able to come over and do that, I think this is the year, honestly, that the Bills could get over that hump.
What do I trust in most? I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills to go do it. I'm going to pick the Buffalo Bills to go do it.
On the sheet, they give me the picks. Next to Dan's name, it just says, no fudging idea.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I love the word fudging.
It's a tough game to pick, man.
Jason McCourty, Bills, go in there and do it.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs fans were so fired up when I picked the Houston Texans last week.
Stand on it.
I figured, why wouldn't I double down? But in reality, I think this is a special year for Josh Allen and these Buffalo Bills. And I picked the Ravens last week because I thought Lamar was going to be able to overcome it on the roll. I just think something about Josh Allen running the ball like he did the last game, making a huge play in this one as what propels Buffalo to
Greeny, I told myself last year when I picked the Ravens to win the AFC Championship game, I would never in my life again pick against Mahomes.
I've done it once.
I gave myself a spanking. And here I am again.
I've done it once.
I'm picking the Buffalo Bills.
I do think this is the Bills' year. I think the Bills are going to win next week, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And, for 1 year when I was with Philadelphia, Sean was there, and he's just, he's a really, really impressive guy. I think he's become a really good head coach, and he hired the right coordinator. Going from Dorsey to Joe Brady has changed their offense. But let's be real about this. The Bills, if you look back when I was younger, Manning-Brady was a rivalry, but up until 06-07, Manning could not beat him. And Brady had 3 Super Bowls. That's kind of what this feels like. Lamar Mahomes is not a rivalry. This is the 3rd time in recent memory, and the Bills have lost these games. Like last year, the overtime game where they went 3 plays and 50 yards or whatever. But this is the game. It's Josh versus Mahomes. And listen.
And you put on top of that, they're the only team that out-momented the Chiefs this year in a head-to-head matchup, right? whether it was the 4th down big run for Josh Allen to score the touchdown and put the Chiefs away. So they've shown, especially in the regular season, they can give the Chiefs issues. And I think they are a physically tougher team than any of the years prior to this with Buffalo. So they're ready to go into Kansas City and win this. You said right, where he doesn't have to carry the whole squad and do everything. He's just got to – he's been very patient. He's mature. He checks the ball down when he's supposed to. He runs and get a few yards when he's supposed to. Josh Allen was the guy like a few years ago, like Lamar last night, where you're like, oh, I can't believe he did that crazy thing there in that big moment, right? That's gone away. So, and then their ability to run the football is another key aspect that they have. So I'm excited. I think this is the best, the best chance the Bills have had to go into Kansas City and beat them in the playoffs ever since Josh Allen.
Cole, who do you got winning?
Yeah, well, I am. I'm going the Buffalo Bills. Like I've watched this team every single week. I see, look, Josh Allen's playing great. This defense is doing enough. Now they're going to have to make more stops and play better late in the game than what they did against the Ravens. I mean, letting Baltimore back in late in the game like that, big play after big play, like that can't happen. That's what Mahomes is best at, like when the ball's in his hand at the end. So they've got to dominate from start to finish. They've got to play 4 quarters of great football, but they have a gunslinger back there wearing number 17 that I think is that I said it. He has a look in his eye. He has a way about him right now that, he's been playing all year to get to this point, right? We love the Chiefs. I love Patrick Mahomes. What they've done is unbelievable. He is a bona fide stud, but I just don't think they squeak by again this week. I think the Buffalo Bills go into Arrowhead, get a win, head to the Super Bowl.
Colt's been my spirit animal this playoff season. I am going with the Buffalo Bills as well. Justin, I hope you're right. I hope we don't see any ticky-tack fouls on personal fouls or late hits or whatever you want to call it on Patrick Mahomes. I also hope that these refs
between it.
Well, first thought on it is this. I don't know that there's a team, and I think we've talked about this, that would maybe have more confidence going into Arrowhead and playing that team than the Buffalo Bills. Just the history, their ability to stand toe-to-toe with them in the past, their ability to beat them, familiarity with the coaches. McDermott comes from the Andy Reid coaching tree. So I think all of that. I think it's a confident team going to Arrowhead. And I think, as much
So the Chiefs are -1.5 against the Bills. I'll take Buffalo +1.5. I took Buffalo +1.5 today. I think Buffalo's going to go into Arrowhead and win. They're pretty healthy. Boy, Milano, again, making nice plays. That guy doesn't get a ton of credit. Football people know. He made a couple of big plays near the goal line tonight.
The Buffalo Bills are America's team. I don't want to take away from no one else, but I think that they call the Cowboys America's team, but Cowboys were America's team because they were very good in that time of life. Now the chapter has changed, and now we have Josh Allen, where we're America's.
Allen, Mahomes. Who's got the edge?
In any other year, we'd be talking about Patrick Mahomes being the guy that goes into every game with the edge. But not this year, this season. Josh Allen has been phenomenal. And it's not just about him throwing the ball or negotiating the pocket with his legs or even taking off and being the best running back on the field whenever he decides to keep it himself. It's about his decision-making. There's been moments in his career where we thought he's going to make a big play, but he's also going to make a mistake. For me, it's the discernment. It's the fact that he knows what plays not to make. A coach once told me when I was young, it's the plays that you don't make that can help you win a championship. And I didn't really know what he was talking about until I started watching quarterbacks like Josh Allen. And if you look at the evolution and maturity, he's taking care of the football, which is why they're in this position right now. I'm going with Josh Allen all day over Patrick Mahomes this season.
You know what, Nate? Whatever kind of game breaks out today, I know that Patrick Mahomes will find a way to formulate a winning response against that Buffalo Bills defense.
No doubt.
Add to the fact that they're at Arrowhead Stadium and this crowd understands the moment, what's at stake, the history of it. I got to go with the greatest of our generation, Patrick Mahomes having the edge. And that's no disrespect to Josh Allen, but man, oh man, Patrick has been unbelievable. And it's time for another one, Brock.
I got to go with Josh Allen, just in regards to what we expect to see tonight. And to Nate's point, Josh Allen not pitching that football to James Cook on the goal line tied up. He has been freed from his demons. That is a new Josh Allen.
Spot on.
Yes.
That's it. I noticed the same thing. That play right there said it all. It was a small play, but us guys that are within the fraternity of football and watching Josh Allen, we all saw that moment, and we're like, the fact that he didn't toss it, there's growth.
You're taking KC -2.
And the other thing I would say, this to you,
yeah.
Patrick Mahomes in terms of resume and accomplishments, better. But in this game, I don't think you could say based on the seasons they've had that Patrick Mahomes is better.
To Philly for this game.
Oh, I also know how the Bills can win.
How?
When they sack Patrick Mahomes, just touch him. Don't do anything more. Don't throw him too hard down on the ground.
Whatever do you mean?
You might get a penalty.
Are you?
I didn't want to do that.
We're starting off on a strong foot here.
I'm going to go with Von Miller having 2 sacks, including one in the fourth quarter. Game, sack, fumble, game over.
Really?
And I look at this tackle position, and they've had problems all year long. And when you look at the right tackle, everybody thinks he's not the problem. He might be the problem right now. And so Jawan Taylor, when they put Von Miller over there, I think he's going to be able to rush the quarterback and get him on the ground. And Von Miller, this is why they brought him in. And it took him a while to start looking like Von Miller again. Well, he's starting to look like Von Miller again. Last week he didn't. That's not the game for him because it's a physical mauling type of game, and he's not great in the run like he used to be good in the run. But this kind of game where he can get him on the ground, get Patrick Mahomes on the ground in key situations, I think that Von Miller is going to have a good day.
Yeah,
I think it's the Bills' time. I think it's the Bills' time to finally knock off the champs and get to the Super Bowl.
You know what? I would agree with you. I've made it a habit to pick against the Chiefs in the playoffs, and they keep winning, so I kind of feel like I'm a part of it.
Us. Yeah.
Yeah, but, this year I've been Chiefs all the way. Like, somebody's got to beat them and prove to me that they can take them down. I'm very torn on this one because I love the Buffalo Bills, and I want to pick them, but I'm scared that means I don't know. I don't know what that means. I feel like I'm going to be good or bad luck, and I don't know which direction, but I think I am going with the Bills.
My instincts were thinking, hey, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. I'm going to ride with these guys. Listen to Bill speak a little bit about it. Watching Deion Dawkins speak throughout the weeks. I'm taking the Bills here, plus 1.5. Josh Allen, I think they find a way to get it done. It's going to be the atmosphere is going to be brutally tough for Buffalo, but I think they're going to gain a ton of confidence, a ton of juice from going in there.
Bills at Chiefs. The wise guys like Kansas City, but I've been on the Bills for a month to win the Super Bowl. The winner of this game, in my opinion, hoists the Lombardi Trophy. They have a winning record against the Chiefs, and Sean McDermott has been there. Did you know that in 9 meetings, they've won 5? They lead the NFL in turnover differential. This team is different. Like Kansas City, they don't beat themselves. Fewest giveaways, 8 in a single season in league history. 12 games this year without a turnover. Their defense also may not be elite, right? You don't think it's elite, but they led the NFL with 35 takeaways because you're usually trailing and have to play catch-up and are kind of predictable. Josh Allen in his playoff career, do not confuse him with Lamar Jackson. He has been excellent. Again, 9 games against Mahomes total. He's won 5. And Kansas City, I think the gig is up. Even if you go to that Houston game, they only had 212 yards offense. They only averaged 4 yards a play. Very Travis Kelce dependent. I like the Bills' receiving core better. I like their running back room better. I like their offensive line better. I think quarterback is a wash. Kansas City's got the better defense. Josh Allen has a way of making great defenses, reducing them to so-so. I'm going to take the Bills to win a close game outright. You know it's going to be close, drama-filled, 28-27. I believe whoever wins.
I think that this Bills team is charmed right now. I think it's Josh Allen's moment. It's his moment to say, look, I've arrived. All you people out there doubted me my entire life, and I'm going to go in there and beat Michael Jordan, and I'm going to prove to you that I have arrived, and I think he will. Before the season, everybody said the window was shut. Not you. Not me. Because the reason the window's not shut, because Josh Allen's the quarterback. And look at the Pro Bowlers on that team. Look at the All-Pro guys on that team. There aren't many, and yet here they are. And he will take this team to a new level in this game. It pains me to pick against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid because I do think they're truly special, but this is Josh Allen's moment. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills.
Two special quarterbacks. Sir. Two special quarterbacks. Going at it again. For the fourth time. In this fourth matchup, I like Joshua. I like Joshua in this fourth matchup, and the main reason why I like Joshua, even though Patrick Mahomes was 15-1 all year long, Josh Allen's team was playing better than Patrick Mahomes' team all year long. Even though Patrick Mahomes is 15-1, Josh Allen has been playing better than Patrick Mahomes all year long. Even when they went head-to-head this year, Josh Allen played better than Patrick Mahomes. To win this game, Josh Allen is going to have to play better than Patrick Mahomes. And he has done that and been that all year long. To be honest, in my humble opinion, I think right now at this point, the Buffalo Bills are playing better football than the Kansas City Chiefs when you talk about defense, offense, special teams. I believe they are playing better football. If it is a time to go get Patrick Mahomes, it's a time to go get him right now. But Josh Allen has to be that dude. The ball was in his hands at the end of the game to close that game out the last time they played the Chiefs, and that's what he did. He's going to have to do that again. But I am going with Joshua in this matchup. I think he finally gets over the hump of Patrick Mahomes and gets his team to the Super Bowl, and that's going to be a heck of a Cinderella.
I will say this. Nick Foles, Eli Manning, Mark Sanchez, Peyton Manning, they didn't have to win as many as Tom Brady. You just have to beat them when it's your time.
Right.
I think this is Josh Allen.
It takes to win. If what it takes to win with what they have offensively is to go put on an aerial display for Mahomes to go nuts and go, match a big day from Allen punch for punch, can they do it?
It's such a loaded question because he can do it.
Right.
We've seen him do everything.
Right.
They can't.
Right.
I love the way you phrased the question. All they've done is win, just doing what they do. They didn't beat the Bills, though.
Right.
Because the Bills are a better team. Right now, the Bills are a bad matchup, and Mike Tannenbaum knows this better than anybody in football and in boxing, I guess. Styles make fights. The style of the way that the Joe Brady and Sean McDermott offense and defense play is a bad matchup right now for the Kansas City Chiefs. The fact that they rush three, use a spy, don't allow someone like Patrick Mahomes to use his legs and create, that helps defensively for them. The fact that no one on the Kansas City Chiefs offense has that sort of explosiveness that makes you scared, that works for the Buffalo Bills. And then offensively, you can not only run the ball, but you have a quarterback that can get out of harm's way if Steve Spagnuolo does dial up something that gets him in the backfield.
But
AFC title game? Let's go to, is it any good? Oh my God, we're doing it. We are doing it. Bills, Chiefs, Arrowhead.
Here we go.
Who's going to win this thing? I'll tell you who's going to win this thing. I'll tell you the score. It's going to be, these guys are going to be up in the final play, and they're going to win. And they're going to win 24-23. Harrison Butker's going to miss a 55-yard field goal to the far right, and the Bills are going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, my gosh.
To the far right. Bills, Lions.
All right, Jeff, what's your football prediction before we go? Who you have for the Super Bowl?
Well, my Eagles are going to the Super Bowl.
Okay. I didn't know if you were serious with that, but we're going for it. Eagles against who?
The Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
And the Buffalo Bills win their first Super Bowl. They are the most underrated, great team ever. To make it to 4 straight Super Bowls will never, ever happen again. I got the Eagles against the Bills, and the Bills win their first Super Bowl.
Josh Allen has been great. I think Buffalo, my guess today, I think Buffalo wins the Super Bowl. That's my take. I think this is the best version of Josh Allen.
Time to see who makes it to New Orleans and who wins in that dome. Now we're going to start now just with the conference championships, not to pat ourselves on the back, but we did have the Bills beating the Ravens, and we do like the Bills again in this game. We give them the over 50% chance to win this game. Now they are underdogs here around 1.5 points, and here's why we do like the Bills better than the Chiefs. For starters, if you're only 1.5 point favorites on your home field, that implies implies that you would be underdogs on a neutral field. If you were a pick'em in a neutral field, that would imply you're -3 on your own home field. So odds makers even believe that the Bills are just an objectively more talented team. And I understand the Chiefs and the dynasty and the record and how great they are in clutch situations. The model recognizes that, but they also recognize that they're statistically a 9-win team, that they have the 3rd best point differential in their own division. So there are faults statistically and on this roster. You look at the Bills, who are such a clean football team. We have them winning the turnover battle, and that's why we ultimately have them coming out on top. And again,
versus Kansas City. Listen, I can't see a lot of points in this one. Buffalo's finally going to beat Kansas City in the playoffs, and I have Buffalo winning 17-14.
Who's the better quarterback in this game?
The better quarterback will be Josh Allen. But in this game like this, it's so many distractions, and everybody's making it the David versus Goliath and this, that, and the third. I said it in the show earlier. Which Patrick Mahomes will he unleash? And the one that he will unleash will be the one that's predicated solely to winning the football game. I think Josh Allen has to have the better game. It's inevitable. It's like
the Bills' offense should get whatever they want against the Chiefs' defense for 4 quarters. It is that caliber of an offense right now against a defense that has some issues. I know Jalen Watson's back, and that's going to help the passing game. I understand that. But in general, I think this Bills offense should have every single thing at Joe Brady's disposal. He should be going for every single 4th and 2. Every opportunity. They should be able to control this whole game. I think the Bills offense is going to have a great day.
I'm picking the Ravens as the scarier team because right now, if you take away history, right, and you take away the things that we knew before 2024, Lamar Jackson is the best player alive. Right? The best player living is Lamar Jackson. This is the year that Lamar Jackson becomes the champion. This is the year that Lamar Jackson...
Didn't we say that last year, though, RC? Didn't we say that last year?
They were positioned last year to do it.
But here's the other piece of it is, too, though. Last year, the defense was better, right? The defense was better last year, and Lamar started to play great toward the end of the season. He wasn't this animal. Lamar wasn't the animal that every time I watched him walk on the field right now, I know what it's going to be. Lamar Jackson ain't got to win 3 in 1 year. He just has to win 1. And when I watch this team right now, if I'm preparing to play either one of these teams, I'm more comfortable that I'm going to be in the game with Kansas City and I got to just find a way to win at the end than I am walking into Baltimore knowing that they might blow my doors off because I can't stop them. Other piece of it is this too, though. It's the history of what Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have been that makes us feel that they can just turn it on. What happens if that's not the case? Because even when we look at the playoffs, when you think about the AFC Championship last year, there were so many pieces of that where I say, if Lamar just does this, if Lamar just tucks the football at this point, if Todd Monken just trusts the run, it wasn't, hey, Kansas City did this until Patrick Mahomes makes the play to MVS, or until we're looking at Travis Kelce in the way that he was able to get open in the first half, and they didn't shut it down until later on in the game. And so, to me, all I'm saying is right now, I believe this iteration of the Baltimore Ravens continues to play this way. And I think even at their best, with the way the roster is constructed, that the Kansas City Chiefs do not beat this team in the playoffs. I think this is Lamar Jackson's year, his year to be the best player in football, his year to hold up the Super Bowl MVP trophy as well.
He threw 5 touchdown passes. Henry,
I want to focus on.
In the same way that Randy Moss was the difference when he came to New England, Tom Brady was already a great quarterback. Yeah. But that elevated everything, basically to the point of being unstoppable. Yes. And that's what this guy has done. If this guy is healthy, nobody beats the Ravens.
Rank ahead of what we're seeing out there. Lamar, Derek Henry, Zay Flowers, they're crushing it right now. I don't know who could slow them down. They are plus 390, by the way, over on FanDuel Sportsbook, the second best odds to win the AFC.
I do believe they'll go to the AFC Championship game. And I do believe that they'll probably, depending on how the seedings turn out, they'll probably wind up seeing the Baltimore Ravens. And I think Lamar finally gets revenge in Kansas City, gets over the hump, takes Baltimore to the Super Bowl. It's hard, Michael. You know.
How confident are we that Lamar Jackson's going to get to a Super Bowl this year?
Most confident I've ever been in Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Most confident. They've
Scale
got
of 1 to 10.
A 9.9.
Wow.
If I had to pick one team that I truly in my gut thought would go to Kansas City and beat Kansas City, it is Baltimore this year. As much as I believe in the Buffalo Bills, and I do think it's a 3-team race. Number one, it's the best season Lamar's ever had. There's no debate about that. It's historically impressive what he's done. I think the second thing is he finally has a true running mate, both behind him and next to him. That makes this offense dynamically impossible to stop. Zay Flowers, first Pro Bowl receiver that the Ravens have ever drafted, and I know he's unlikely to play this weekend. Derrick Henry, Lamar and Derrick Henry combined have almost 3,000 yards rushing. They've got 2 Defensive Player of the Year candidates on defense, a top 5 offensive line. They got the second best run game in football. This is the most complete football team, the most balanced football team that Lamar's had. They got a defense ever since Kyle went back to safety. He's the number 1 defense in the NFL. I've never been more confident in Lamar's ability, but also Lamar's mindset to go get it done.
Super Bowl champion. The difference this year is the track that Mahomes has to go through in the Chiefs is going to be the hardest that he ever has in his career because, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson have always been good. This year, they are the best versions of themselves. Their defenses are playing better, specifically the Ravens, who have completely flipped. And not only that, once you get out.
The Ravens are the threat to the Chiefs. I'll give them a pass. Week 1, playing the Chiefs. Derrick Henry's first game, they didn't give him as many carries. That wouldn't happen again. They're in a rhythm. When Derrick Henry gets the ball, they see what happens. The more he gets the ball, the better. This version of Lamar Jackson he look unstoppable. He literally looks like if I want to, I can go scramble and get 10 minimum. If I really want to, I can throw the ball accurately to anybody, completion. Lamar Jackson is playing better than we've ever seen him. 2-time MVP, and he's playing better this year than he did in either one of those MVP seasons. And so, to me, the Ravens are the threat to the Chiefs. If the Ravens and Chiefs play, the Ravens will beat them.
In Kansas City.
I don't care where it's at.
Formula for them to have success. And when they are on all cylinders offensively like that, controlling, dominating the line of scrimmage, dominating time of possession, running the football the way they run the football, setting up those one-on-one opportunities for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
There's nobody in the AFC, including Kansas City, that can beat him.
I see how you talk about Lamar and those certain things. It's bro, he's just the greatest quarterback in the league. And we so far forget, Josh
I don't think he's
Allen.
the greatest quarterback in the league.
Right now,
Patrick Mahomes is the greatest quarterback in the league.
Right now, I'm taking Lamar Jackson over any other quarterback in the NFL.
Including Josh Allen? Including Josh Allen?
Hey. Oh, and that's what I'm trying to tell you, Stephen.
Okay,
You gotta watch what you say about Lamar Jackson because you
if you're in a panic room and you have to answer this question to get out, and it has to be the right answer, you have to say, who wins the AFC? Which one team are you picking?
All right.
Definitive.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Really?
Yeah. I picked them at the beginning of the year, September 4th, 2024. You heard it.
You're
And now
right.
I'm going to stick with them, Kay.
But do you really believe that? I'm really looking for that. You think they're going to get past the Chiefs?
I think they're finally going to do it with the Baltimore Ravens, with how they played last week versus Steelers, a rival team, in their division. They took care of business. They made them look silly. I think they're going to finally pull it off. Lamar Jackson has to get over that hump. And
I think the best team in the AFC right now is the Baltimore Ravens. And if you played Kansas City right now, Baltimore versus Kansas City right now, I think Baltimore beats them by 10 points. As they're currently constructed, the way they're both playing right now.
Who are you picking, Doggy?
Right now?
It's late January, and you've got Patrick Mahomes on one
I'm
side.
going to do something that's going to
Oh,
surprise
you're going to pick Lamar over Patrick?
That's
yeah,
what
right.
I'm going to do.
No, you're not.
When did
that tide turn?
Lamar
Jackson.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Dougie. Dougie, that is fine. But Lamar Jackson is 1-5 versus Mahomes. You do understand that?
I do.
You have brought that stat up many a time on this show.
I am now convinced.
I don't even
John
know who you
Harbaugh
are
was right.
anymore.
The greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL when he said that in training camp. I am all in.
Oh my
Lamar,
God, Doggy, the way
who
you
has
have
been
turned.
unbelievable.
Hold on. I'm
all
sorry.
in.
Wait, this is breaking news.
Baltimore, Detroit in the
Are
Super
you
Bowl.
being facetious
Doggy.
or are you
No, I'm
serious?
Doggy, can I ask you
You
a question?
were so down on. Sorry, Stephen A. But you were so
We'll make our offense better
The
in
Ravens
Baltimore.
have the best skill position players in the AFC. Who's got better?
No, you're right.
The depth-wise.
No goes. Quarterback, running back, tight end, receivers. Baltimore's #1, arguably in the league.
And Buffalo's second in the AFC.
MVP. But the reality is, we're watching Lamar Jackson do things we didn't even think were possible at the quarterback position. To throw for 44,000 yards, over 40 touchdowns, as well as 850 yards rushing, he has a real opportunity to throw for 4,000 and rush for 1,000 and only have 4 interceptions to boot. He's playing at a level of football, again, we have not seen, we didn't think was possible.
And to be honest with you, I'm just trying to put the stats away, because when you turn the tape on with Lamar Jackson looked like he is on a different planet than everybody else. He's playing at a different speed. He's playing at his own speed. He's a mile ahead of every defense. Every single play. Every time I see Lamar Jackson throw the ball, I don't even know who down there. I'm like, it's a big-time play. That's just how I feel right now. Every time I see him take off, I'm like, man, he finna score a touchdown. That's just how I feel. It looks so unfair right now to everybody else but Lamar Jackson. Like, I think the NFL need to come up with a rule. If you play the Ravens, you get an extra guy on defense. Because that's how it's looking with Lamar Jackson. So stats aside, how he's looking, I've never seen Lamar Jackson look like this. Whether it's quick game, knowing where to go with the football, whether it's knowing when to run, getting outside the pocket, making the play with his legs, throwing the ball, taking the deep shots down, I've never seen Lamar Jackson look like this. I do not think Lamar Jackson is going to make a play every time. I mean, make a mistake every time he says hike. Every time he say hike, I'd be like, ooh, this would be a big-time play. That's how I feel about Lamar Jackson. He's on a totally different level than any quarterback, than any offense right now in the National Football League. He's playing at an MV3 level. And like I say, put an extra man on defense because they're not going to be able to stop him with 11. I'm telling you that now. It is too easy for Lamar Jackson. Watching him play, stats aside, he is taking the next step. He looks unstoppable,
If you're talking about the actual film, right now, you take away history, Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in the world.
Can the Ravens pose the same threat to the Chiefs that the Bengals pose to the Chiefs in the postseason?
I think so. I think with the way that they found their game right now, again, I've said it before, I think the Chiefs got very fortunate that they played the Ravens in week 1 because they didn't have this thing really working until like week 3, week 4, and then they've built momentum since. This is a very different Ravens team than the one they saw.
I'm talking about the
or the one
playoffs.
they saw in the AFC Championship game last year.
Yeah.
Yes, the way that they're built with Derrick Henry, you said
They're
it.
going to run the
when they
ball
signed
more than
Derrick.
6 times, yeah.
Yeah. So I do think, I don't think Kansas City can get cocky just because they've had success in the past. This is a different Ravens team.
Through 9-10 games this season, he is the best player in the world, period. There's no argument about that.
Or he's having the best season this year.
Just because his record is not undefeated does not mean that he's not the best player.
That's just one part of it.
I watched him with my own eyes, and I've watched Patrick Mahomes this year with my own eyes.
So Lamar Jackson is a better player than Patrick Mahomes.
Right now, through 10 games? Through 10 games? I think it was 9 games?
So
No,
we're
10
saying
games,
the
10
same
games,
thing.
10 games.
Lamar Jackson is having a better season this year in the year
That's
of our
why
Lord
everybody is saying,
2024.
but that's why everybody is saying he's the best player in the world right now.
He's playing the best right now.
Playing the
Those are
best.
two different sentences.
Is he one of the top 3 in the world? I would probably say that.
Well, yeah, of course.
How is he playing the best, got the best numbers, the best this, the best that, but he's not the best player?
Because Patrick Mahomes
Still
breathes
exists.
air on this
Yeah,
planet.
he still exists.
He didn't go with Elon to Mars, so he's still the
And his
best
team
player.
is undefeated.
I'm not going to Mars either. I'm good right here in L.A.
Right. So while
I don't
he's
think
still,
I'm even going to go
while
outside
he's
of L.A.
still on this green earth, Patrick Mahomes is the best player.
I get our love fest for Patrick Mahomes.
It ain't a love fest.
Phenomenal.
It's not a love fest.
There's
He's
no
the best
question.
player.
I love him. It's must see every single game. But Lamar Jackson is doing unprecedented things out on the football field that we've never seen a quarterback do.
Patrick Mahomes is the
What is he
quarterback
doing?
of an undefeated team
right now? What is he doing?
for his 3rd straight championship, which has never been done in the history of the sport.
He's headed in that
Would you not
direction.
call it that
But are
unprecedented?
we going to see a collision course? Are we going to see them play each other in the playoffs?
We just saw it a couple months ago.
Well, that was the beginning of the season. And they got the best of them.
We just saw it in the AFC Championship.
No, we saw it in the first week of the season. They played. Remember, Kansas City beat them the first week of the season. Yeah.
Right.
I understand
but I can
that
also
part.
go back to the collision course in the AFC Championship game where Patrick Mahomes won.
Yes, but you can have another collision
in Baltimore.
You can have another one. You can have another one. And he may be playing better this time around than he was in the AFC Championship.
Lamar Jackson is by far the most exciting thing in the NFL. And I don't mean just quarterback. I'm talking anybody. Kicker, quarterback, running back, pick a back. Lamar Jackson is that. And it's not even close. And when you look at what he's doing, these numbers, he's absolutely the best player in the NFL. And it's really not close. He is better than Patrick Mahomes right now. Not saying the whole this season and really the last season and a half.
I don't even think it's a
he's
debate.
better than Patrick Mahomes. He's playing the position better. He's more accurate. He has more yards. He has more touchdowns. He runs better. He's the best player in all of football for the last couple of seasons.
And Patrick Mahomes, imagine if he had Patrick Mahomes' defense, where he would be. I mean,
Well, that's
right?
kinda scary.
No, right?
So let's
Because
put our money where our mouth is then, okay? Are the Chiefs the team to beat to win the Super Bowl again?
Are they? I like the Ravens better than the Chiefs right now, honestly. I think the Chiefs,
Homer.
You've seen that movie.
Homer.
Okay. So just because it happened last year and it happened at the beginning of the season doesn't mean that every time that they play are going to lose. They played pretty much to a draw earlier in this season, and the Ravens have gotten better since then, and the Chiefs have gotten worse. So we can be up here.
What is a draw? There was no draw.
So
you talk about history all the time. The last two times they played.
It's a matter of a toe.
They beat them by a foot. I mean, they literally beat them by that foot. Okay,
all
perfect.
I'm saying is all I'm saying is they were close. You didn't leave that game thinking that the Chiefs.
There's a lot of teams that play close.
But I'm saying since then, I believe that the Ravens have gotten better and the Chiefs have gotten more injured.
The Ravens should have lost to
more
6.
even match. It wasn't. Lamar and Derrick Henry, that combo is something special when they can make it work and have it all working at the same time. The O-line seems to have gelled to another level. Who's going to stop them? You cannot tell me this is not the best team in the NFL right now. I'm not a power rankings gal. Who are you going to put above them? The Vikings? Maybe. They're deserving, of course. Look at their competition, taking down the Niners, the Packers, taking down juggernauts, looking super well-balanced defense, offense. Sam Darnold. Are you buying the Vikings more than you're buying Lamar Jackson and the John Harbaugh and the Derrick Henry and the amazing defense of the Ravens? Ravens are the best team in football. By far. Even though the record doesn't state it, Vikings fans come for me. Yeah, I don't know. It's taken a couple weeks, I feel like, for this team. I mean, the NFL is kind of in a bit of a crawl, in my opinion. A bit of a crawl. We haven't seen the best football. I don't think out of any team we haven't seen the best football. Yeah, but I mean, maybe the Saints. We'll get to them. But this might be the most dangerous team. Actually, it is. It's the best team. And 0-2 to 2-2, the Ravens are getting the third best odds, as you see, to win the AFC over on FanDuel Sportsbook. Chiefs injuries, they continue to mount. What do we do with Rice? What do we do there? They're, losing 10-zip to the Chargers for most of the day. With the Ravens and what they just did to Buffalo, this might be time to get on board. Nobody has looked better over the last 2 weeks in the AFC. They get the Bengals.
Baltimore Ravens, Tony, if Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson are healthy, they're going to supplant the Kansas City Chiefs this year in the AFC. They just are. Because they are that dynamic. They are that unstoppable. I realize
Who's the biggest threat to the Chiefs in the AFC?
It's the Baltimore Ravens. Not just because they beat the Bills, right, who I think most of us would agree it's between those two teams as being right behind Kansas City in the AFC. But when I look at the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, all three teams who we would put in that tier, the best unit of all of those teams is the Ravens offense. I am not sure people appreciate what this Ravens offense is doing historically by a lot of metrics. One of the ones you guys know I love to cite, DVOA, which accounts for opponent. This is one of the best offenses in NFL history through the midpoint of the season. In fact, in that metric, they're actually better than those Patriots teams in 2007, 2010. They are so dominant in so different ways, running the football, throwing it, play action, passing. Lamar Jackson playing the best football of his career. They haven't even integrated Deontay Johnson. So when I think about these three teams, and also specifically who would give the Chiefs problems because of their ability to keep up with them, I go to that Ravens offense. I understand the defense has not played great football thus far this year. I believe they will be better at the end of the season than they have been. There have been some injuries on that side of the ball. I think the coaching change has impacted things. But that offense is a juggernaut, guys. And it's why they beat the Bills so handily, who I imagine Dan is going to bring up, because the Bills' defense is not built to stop this Ravens offense that can play power football and just ground and pound them. Which quarterback, which offense is the Chiefs' defense afraid to play? I don't think it's a coincidence that Jason, having played defense, agrees with me here. You do not want to play this Ravens offense.
Yeah, Derrick Henry said that Lamar's the GOAT and he's the best quarterback in football. Was he lying? I mean, it seems like Lamar can do it all. I mean, he accounted for just over 400 yards. If you're talking about passing, and also his 55 yards rushing. But like you said, Coach, if a team takes away Derrick Henry, and you know how to pivot in a game, and you can hit guys like Zay Flowers and Isaiah Likely, and we're not even mentioning Mark Andrews. He's like an afterthought, but we know he's going to show up when the season starts to progress and even in the playoffs, because that combo is always deadly. I just feel like this team can hit you from every angle, and on top of that, they didn't panic.
And then they will lose to the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. Look, Lamar is focused. Lamar is urgent. I see optimism. I don't see, him thinking about last year's loss to the Chiefs. He has done nothing but prove everybody wrong, and I think he's going to finally do it this year in the Super Bowl and get that championship.
So who's the team to beat of the remaining 8 in these playoffs, Marcus Spears?
Rich, I got to go Baltimore, man. I got to go Baltimore. And it's one thing that scared me, beyond the obvious, right? And the apprehensiveness is, obviously, you put the Chiefs up there with an asterisk, right? Like, they got to be, well, we'll deal with them. We're going to talk about everybody else, but this is probably the team that we need to isolate and feel more comfortable about them taking care of business. But I think the AFC Championship last year for Lamar is going to put him in a position to do anything he has to do to win these games. And you know as well as I know, Rich, sometimes the do-over is the best thing to happen to you. And to find yourself in this position. And that's from a mental part with Lamar, because I've said it before. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. I think Lamar Jackson is the best football player in the NFL. And there's a difference in that. Even though Lamar plays the position at a very high level, just quarterbacking out of the pocket, I still think there's a magnetic energy around this dude that he can do whatever he wants to do at any time on the field when he makes his mind up to do it. And last year, I was frustrated and came on after the AFC Championship because I felt like he was playing coy and he was trying to be too careful and not just letting it all hang out. I think he does that this year, man. And obviously we know that beast that he has in the backfield with him. They dictate so much of what you can do defensively. Derrick Henry, yep, I see y'all putting up King Henry.
Oh, yeah, with the smile on his face as he's running 40 yards down your throat. I mean, my God.
Knowing that I'm bigger than my old lineman and nobody can catch me once I break through the second part of the line. But yeah, man, and then too, I think this Mark Andrews, I think Todd Monken, the offensive coordinator, has figured out this Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely usage. And Rich, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think it's the most dominant thing in these playoffs is those two tight ends on the field at the same time.
I like it. Nick, I hate to tell you, this is the year he gets over the hump.
Okay.
Not only does he play well in the playoffs, he leads the Ravens to the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Victory. Not just appearance, victory.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson has been so good this year that it's hard for me.
This is probably the worst game we're going to play all year. So if this is their best that they got, I mean, good luck in the postseason.
I want to win a Super Bowl.
So when you're going through free agency, like how much money, location, organization, like is Super Bowl number one by far?
Yes, I want to win the Super Bowl, and I felt like coming here gave me the best chance. I mean, they were just...
Of course it's Cincinnati. Because we know the quarterback can beat the quarterback. We've watched the quarterback do it. Now, they need help. Yes, the Chiefs, you got to go through the Chiefs. They're going to be at home. I think it's interesting that we're not talking about Buffalo. Buffalo's the only team that has actually beat Kansas City. But scariest, yes, because there's house money on the table in many ways. Like, now Cincinnati's got one quarterback that the Chiefs don't want to see. Like, pray to God, please don't let him get in. That's Joe Burrow. Because there's styles and the way that you play against
fights. Come on, Molly, come on,
we got all the cliches. There's just ways that the guy plays, and I think defensively, that the way they think it.
If you're talking about Mahomes specifically, there's no one scarier than him. I'll stand down. If we're doing, if we're looking at something collectively, and I understand who Mahomes is, and we know how phenomenal and great he is, I gotta tell you something. You know what scares me, Shannon? Those Cincinnati Bengals. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. Those brothers. Right. Now, again, you got to look at Cincinnati's defense and ask yourself what they're going to do. But I'm just talking about offensively. I'm just talking offensively in terms of a team that can scare the living hell out of you because of what they can do with their aerial assault. I look at the Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase, I hope he's watching. I want Jamar Chase. I've never had the pleasure of meeting this brother. Jamar Chase is a superstar receiver in this game. I think it's a travesty that he had to take out a $50 million insurance policy just to make sure he could play this season and get paid. This brother is electrifying. He is one of the best in the business. Shannon, bad news for you. Damn it, so is Joe Burrow. This brother's something special, Shannon. I know he's made some mistakes with it. Joe Burrow's something special. And T. Higgins. My hope, my quiet hope is that he leaves Cincinnati this year and he goes and joins Pickens in Pittsburgh and goes to the Steelers. The Steelers need the Steelers need two receivers, not just one, okay? No disrespect to Austin or anybody else or Jefferson, but I'd love to see T. Higgins in the Steelers uniform. But this brother, Jamar Chase, with Joe Burrow throwing him the football, when we use the word scary, we all have to stand down to Mahomes, you're my homeboy. But when I think about something other than a quarterback, and I think about collectively, offensively, in terms of your explosion, Cincinnati's it for me. Cincinnati's it for me. They scary. Honestly speaking, I think it's the Cincinnati Bengals because of Joe Burrow. A healthy Joe Burrow with Chase and Higgins and Boyd and the crew, I can't underestimate them, Amina. I've watched Joe Burrow get the Cincinnati Bengals to a Super Bowl. I watched him get them to back-to-back AFC Championship games. This dude is no joke. Patrick Mahomes has 2 postseason losses in his career. One is to a 7-time champion in Tom Brady. The other is to Joe Burrow. And that is it. And when Joe Burrow is healthy, who can he not beat? When Joe Burrow is healthy, who do the Cincinnati Bengals look like? I mean, if you look at this team, okay, without him, there are teams squeezing into the playoffs or not making it, being good enough to make it. With him, they're a title contender and one of the top 4 teams in the National Football League. That's just how they perform. And that's why I say him. Because, again, if he's healthy, I believe Joe Burrow is a game changer.
The narrative will never change that the Bengals are the biggest threat to the Chiefs repeating. Listen, the narrative won't change as long as Joe Burrow is healthy. Listen, they're 3-1 against the Chiefs. I know Patrick Mahomes, 2-3-time Super Bowl champion. I understand all that. But if there's a team that has the fit based on personnel to beat the Chiefs, it is the Cincinnati Bengals. If Joe Burrow stays healthy, mark my words. Mark my words. Now, we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back to this later on in the season. Yeah. And when the Bengals do beat the Chiefs in a game of importance, Ryan, you keep that same giggle and keep that same laugh. Remember.
All right, let's get the date. It's July 29th at 11:50 Eastern. Chad says Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs in an important game. We got it, Chad. We got it earmarked.
Yeah, for me, I'm going with the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. The simple fact that, like you mentioned, that 3-1 record versus Patrick Mahomes, and that's something to be said, right? 4-0. There's only 2 quarterbacks, right, in the history of the NFL to beat Patrick Mahomes in a playoff setting. One of those being Joe Burrow, the other one being Tom Brady, who's no longer, playing the game of football. He's now in the broadcasting booth. And also, like when I look at Joe and I look at his presence in the pocket, I don't think anybody plays the quarterback position better than Joe Burrow from a pocket standpoint.
Right.
2 hands on the football, feeling things around him, still keeping his eyes downfield.
Needs rebuilt. But if Cincinnati does get in the playoffs with those 2 horses on the outside and the way Brown has been running the ball, Chase Brown, he has taken the place of Mixon and what he's done for that Cincinnati offense. This is probably one of the most explosive offenses, if not the most explosive offense in the NFL right now.
And offense, obviously, we talk about defense win championships, but boy, a great offense is your best form of defense. Keeps your defense on the bench. It's a lot easier to defend when you had the lead. I've been there in New England where we had a lot of leads. You get a lot of sacks and a lot of interceptions when you're playing with the lead.
But Cincinnati,
because if Joe Burrow stays healthy, just because just the same way that San Francisco.
T. Higgins ain't gonna be there.
Okay,
That's why I said they're gonna a lot of pieces gonna move.
Just the same way that Mahomes has had San Francisco's number, because he's now 4-0. Joe Burrow has had Mahomes' number, and it doesn't matter to me who you get, as long as he's got Jamar Chase. They are serious business. And when he was healthy this year, remember, they went to San Francisco and he put on a clinic out there. He is capable of going into Arrowhead and winning, because I saw him do it in an AFC Championship game.
I don't know that anybody can stand on a field and watch Joe Burrow and say he's not the best player in the world, and then you can transfer that argument.
Yeah, one play change it off for real. Like y'all seen a flag on defense, so it's one play.
You expect you're going to see them again?
I'm pretty sure we will. Everybody knows that, bro. It's not no if. You know what I'm saying? We are the team to beat in the AFC, and we know it, and we got to act like it.
I honestly can't wait to see them. I got him as my one of my lock strings right now, so I could see it every day. Both of them. Yeah, because I can't wait to see them again.
It's on your what? It's on your...
One of my lock strings on my phone. I got like a slideshow, and I could just click through like family members, and then they on there too.
They're family now, huh?
Yeah, no, they're not family, but yeah, I can't wait to see them again.
Did you chat with Kelsey at all? Was there any
no
introductions or anything? Or?
No, sir.
Have you done that before with the lock screen? Is that new? Or?
Yeah, like usually I do that like whenever we had a big bowl like last year against Ole Miss, they had Penn State teammates like talking on internet. So I screenshotted that post and put it on my lock string so you don't forget it. Remember what you're doing it for.
I'm trying to do this as an analyst. Change my mind. If Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, the Jets are absolutely the biggest threat to Patrick Mahomes' three-peat in the conference. They have the best defense of anybody with the possible exception of Cleveland, and they have the most proven quarterback. He's Aaron Rodgers, for crying out loud. We talk about him like we talk about the Jets, Jeff, like there's a question mark at the quarterback position. My quarterback green list today is going to be my quarterback pyramid. So I'm going to give you my top 6 in pyramid form. So let's start with the lowest level of the pyramid, which again constitutes the 4th, 5th, and 6th best quarterbacks in the NFL. They are Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, and Jordan Love. That's the lowest layer. That's the foundation layer of the pyramid. We move up one slot on the pyramid here. We got Patrick Mahomes, and we got Josh Allen. And you may say to yourself, how in the world is it that Patrick Mahomes is not number 1? Well, the reason is we have to give credit to the man who built the pyramid. I'm not talking about King Tut. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers. I'm talking about the man who the last time he was questioned in the way he has been questioned at this point, the last time his team gave up on him, the last time the team went out there and made moves that made him feel as though he wasn't wanted anymore, the last time the league gave up on him, the last time idiots on this show like me did essays suggesting that his best days were behind him, he went out and won not 1, but 2 back-to-back MVP awards. And you know what? That team wasn't as good as the team he's on this year. So this has been delayed by 1 season. But upon his return from the pyramid, Aaron Rodgers belongs on top of the pyramid. He is going to have the best season. Mark my words. He is going to have the best season of any quarterback in the NFL this year and put the top brick, is it a brick? What are they made of? Stone? The top stone on the pyramid when it matters the most.
AFC Championship game, we are going to have history.
History in the National Football League. I am a sucker for history. And as I was crunching the numbers, as I was going back through old interviews, as I was thinking about all these glorious shows, I was listening to me in preparation for today, for the Wednesday after Labor Day. And I went back and I listened to the Aaron Rodgers interview, the interview that was sweeping the nation. And I said to myself, Rodgers is locked in. Rodgers is absolutely locked in. And then when I was done listening to my interview with Aaron Rodgers, I went back and I listened to last year's interview with Aaron Rodgers because nobody loves me more than me. And I listened to Rodgers talking about how he wants to take the Jets to the Super Bowl. And I started thinking about it. And he's watching the 86 Mets documentary. Remember all that? Ed Sheeran, Shivers, Hard Knocks, everything. We're running it back. So what would be the best way for Aaron Rodgers to take the Jets to the Super Bowl? Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers have never played. They've never played against each other in an NFL game. We've been close a couple of times. Regular season, Green Bay a couple of times. The positive COVID test. Last year, Rodgers got hurt. We got to watch Zach Wilson on Sunday Night Football. A few years ago, you had the Mahomes injury. You thought you were going to get Rodgers and Mahomes in the Super Bowl the year that Tom Brady went into Lambeau and beat Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has never played Patrick Mahomes head-to-head before in the NFL. It's going to happen on Championship Sunday. And Aaron Rodgers is going to deny Patrick Mahomes an opportunity to three-peat.
For me, there is no team that is better equipped in the National Football League to deal with the pressure of the playoffs than the Detroit Lions. They have had this 2-year run of doing things that nobody else does, going for it on every fourth down, fake punts, you name it, they do it. They have played on the razor's edge for 2 straight years, and they are accustomed to it. And I'm telling you, I've sat in the meetings and talked to them about, hey, man, we're equipped to do this. This is what we do. This is who we are. And you mentioned it. Dan Campbell, the coaching, the mentality they have as a football team, they're more equipped than anybody else to deal with the pressure of the playoffs.
I feel like this move is not for a regular season game. Mm-hmm. It's not even for a playoff game. This move signified, and I talked to some people in the building this morning in Detroit, and it said, we want to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. That is what this move is for, to add a pass rusher. Already, huh? Yes, they are going. They feel like it. And let's be honest, that offense with Ben Johnson is at a completely different level. And quite honestly, they could make the Super Bowl without this addition. But now this gives them a chance. I'm not going to say that.
They still find people and make plays. And Aaron Glenn's doing a wonderful job. To me, it proves what I've always said. I don't hear that defense win championships. Points wins championships. And this team scores the most points in the National Football League right now. First-ranked scoring defense at 33 points a game. They're a second-ranked total offense at 409.5 yards per game. So second-ranked pass offense. They can throw the ball. You cannot find a way. So if you take one thing away, they'll beat you with another. That means they're the most dangerous and the most scariest team to me.
From Idaho. Yeah. And can you, sir, explain your answer to this question? Do you still have any doubt about the Chiefs?
Absolutely, because I watched the Detroit Lions play. And the Detroit Lions are the best team in football. They will absolutely gash you offensively. And they're so good that they're finding ways to create trick plays because it's like, it's too easy for us. It's like stealing. We are that good. They can run it. They've got the best offensive line in football.
But you're just moving the goalposts. You said it was the Ravens. The Chiefs beat the Ravens.
No. I always said it was the Lions. I said I thought the Ravens were the best in the AFC.
Okay.
He thinks the Lions are the best team in football.
Yeah, best team in football.
Thinks the Ravens
right now, should the NFL fear more, James Jones? Is it the Chiefs or is it the Lions?
You know, as I was thinking about this topic, I said Lions in the meeting.
Oh.
You was joking though, right?
And
don't be a flip-flopper.
As I was walking up here, I'm like,
he flip-flops a lot.
Yeah.
The Lions are the Chiefs.
He does, though.
right now, fellas, I don't think it's close.
I know what he's saying.
The most scariest team, most feared team.
Thank you.
In the NFL as we speak today, right? Because we're talking today. Today, right?
Today,
right
yeah,
this.
yeah.
It's not even close, and it's the Detroit Lions.
Hey!
Right? My answer has stayed the same. No flip-flop.
Why you do me like that? Why you gotta do me?
No flip-flop and no nothing. I mean, two-headed monster at running back, running the air out of the football. They can throw the ball with the best of them. They got the number one offense in football right now. They're playing really good defense, really good special teams, coach really, really well. They know exactly who they are. I don't know who wins right now if they played each other. I really don't know who wins. And if I had to pick and bet on that game, if it was happening with Shady, I would bet the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions is built the right way. The Detroit Lions are bullies. They should be feared. They play football the right way, and the quarterback is playing at a really high level as well. Detroit Lions, most feared team in football.
Welcome to this morning's presser. Emmanuel Acho to the podium.
Is anybody going to talk about the Detroit Lions? If they aren't, I will. The Detroit Lions are the most complete team in football officially. Did you watch the game yesterday? Before we talk about yesterday, their point differential on the season, 100. 100. That's the best in football. When you talk about their offense, 33.4 points per game. They haven't led the NFL in scoring in 75 years. This is not yesterday's Detroit Lions. This is today's Detroit Lions. Yesterday you scored on special teams. But not only what are they doing on special teams, it's what they're doing collectively as an offense. You got 2 running backs. They got 5 touchdowns. You got 4 receivers that all got touchdowns. The Detroit Lions in totality, the most complete team. Every NFC team should not just be on alert. They should be scared. The Detroit Lions looked within their division and said, we're the best team in our division. But now they've looked outside to the whole NFC and said, we are here to stay. When you talk about the most complete team in football, you better be talking about Detroit.
Lions are the best team in ball. Lions don't have a flaw. No one's going to point to me about Jared Goff. 3 of the 5 interceptions aren't on Jared. Houston played a remarkable football game. I thought you saw just kind of in the second half them figuring out what they can get to. But that's the most dominant team in ball.
So, yes, they are the best team in the NFL because they're showing you they're a team that just breaks your soul. Look at what Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery did yesterday. 5.1 yards per carry, and they didn't have a run each over 18 yards. They just wore down the Green Bay Packers, and the score, 24-14, not at all indicative of how close this game was not. They scored 24 consecutive points in the second quarter, in the third quarter. And watching what this defense did in bend, don't break mode, 4 red zone trips for the Green Bay Packers, only 1 touchdown. Every metric tells you that they are the best team in the NFL. Number 1 in DVOA efficiency, top 5 in offense and defense. The only team in the NFL that has that right now. Yes, I understand the Kansas City Chiefs have not lost a game, but the way that Detroit is winning these games shows you that they can take down anybody in the NFL.
So you're willing to go there and say they are right now in the Cronin Power Rankings number 1.
You're the best team in the NFL right now.
I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I certainly feel like we can beat anybody in the league, you know, and I think that's what it's about.